So in this video, we are going to discuss the sine rule. We've talked about this before in previous videos, and I've gone through the derivation for you as well in those. So if you need to have a look at that and see basically why this formula looks like it does over here, you can look at those previous videos. But in this one, we are just applying the formula, going over it as a bit of a recap and doing a couple of practice questions, finding sides and angles using sine rule. Now, with all of our non-right angle triangles, we can assign these side names to them. So we have, for example, side A, and then angle A is going to be the angle opposite that side. Side B is going to be opposite angle B. Now, sine rule, we can write it in two different ways. And we use this first way to find the length of a side. In this way, we can see here that the formula tells us that one side over the sine of the angle opposite that side equals to another side over the sine of the angle opposite that side equals to this C over sine C. So this first one we are going to use anytime we want to find a side. For finding an angle, we can write the same formula, but then just write the reciprocals of each of these. So we can basically flip these, and we have a new formula. Now, you can just go with the first formula and rearrange the equation, but it's just a few more steps in solving the equation. So some of you may find it easier just to substitute it straight into this one, so it just makes our working out a little bit less extensive, okay? Now, we only use sine rule when we're given two sides and an angle opposite one of the given sides, or two angles and one side. But basically the combination that you'll be noticing, I'll even scroll down an example 1 so you can see it, we are always going to use sine rule if we have two sides that are present, one of them can be unknown, and two angles present. So anytime we see two sides, two angles, we are going to use sine rule. Now, for example 1, I'm going to have a go at applying one of my two formulas. Now here, I'm looking for the value of x, which is a side. So I'm going to use my formula on the top. Now, I'm just going to rewrite it here. I also urge you to write these as you're doing them, so when you're practicing, because it's going to just help you remember the formula. The more times you write it, the more it's going to retain in your memory. Now, I can label these whichever I want, it doesn't matter, but let's call x my A. That means that angle 50 is going to be my angle A. 4.1 is B, so that means angle 37 is my angle B. So I can substitute these into my formula now. So I know that x over the sine of 50 degrees equals to 4.1 over the sine of 37. Now, all we have to do here is we're trying to find x here. We know that it's dividing by sine 50 to give this. So we just do our inverse operation. So the opposite of dividing by sine 50 is multiplying. So to find x, we just want to multiply both sides by sine 50, which means that x is going to equal to 4.1 over sine 37 multiplied by sine 50. Now, once I have x on its own here, all I want to do is just write it into my calculator, and then it will give us an answer. And we want to round this to one decimal place. So this should give you 5.2. And they haven't given you a unit here, so we can just leave it like this. So this is how we can use sine rule to find the length of an unknown side. This next example, we're using sine rule to find the length of an unknown angle. So here we've been given this. In some questions, if they're worded questions like this, you may be asked to draw it on your own. But here they've given you the diagram. We are just trying to find our angle theta here. So we're given two sides and two angles, so we know we're going to use sine rule. I'm going to call side 3 A, which means that 36 is going to be B. Oh, sorry. It's going to be angle A. And 4.5 is going to be B. side B. So theta, my unknown angle, is going to be angle B. So I'm going to rewrite my formula for sine rule. So here we're looking for an angle, saying find the angle theta. So we are going to use the formula, but flipped over. We are using this second formula here. So we're saying sine of A over A equals to sine of B over B. And now I just substitute into the formula. So sine of 36 over 3 equals to sine of theta over 4.5. And I do a very, very similar thing to the last example. I know that sine theta is dividing by 4.5, so I want to multiply both sides by 4.5 to get it away from sine theta. So I have here that sine theta equals to 4.5 multiplied by sine 36 over 3. Now, to find theta, I want to use my inverse sine, because anytime I'm trying to find an angle, I have to do my inverse trig ratio. So I have, to find theta, I have 4.5 multiplied by sine 36 over 3. And this will give me, I want to find this to the nearest minute. So I'm going to put this all in my calculator first. Remember, you have to write your inverse sine. So I'm doing 4.5 multiplied by sine 36 over 3. And that will give me 61.845 ... And remember to convert this to degrees, minutes. We use this button on our calculator. So once you get your answer, you just press that number. This will give you 61 degrees, 50 minutes, 43.56 seconds. Now this number here is 30 or more, so that means we have to round up. So that gives me 61 degrees and 51 minutes. Now that is how we will be finding our angle and side using sine rule. Thank you so much for joining me in this video, and I'll see you next time.